Hello everyone, Josh first back again with some more Epic 7 news, and today we got very unexpected information on the upcoming nerfs, buffs, awakening effect improvements, Molagora improvements, all that other stuff that Smilegate talked about in yesterday's update. I don't think anybody expected this update to come this early. Now I will have a link to this in the description below as always, so be sure to check that out for yourselves. Anyways, let's jump right into it. Awakening effect improvements. Now this, if some of you are unaware, if you're like a new player, you can awaken your players by using runes that you get from the altar as well as catalyst, and they give you slight improvements to your character's base stats normally. So they are improving effectiveness, is now going from 3% to 6%. Now it's going 6% to 12%. So it's getting a big buff. Effect resistance was 3% and 6%, now 6 and 12. Critical hit chance was 3 and 6, now it's going to be 4 and 8. Critical hit damage was 3 and 6, now 5 and 10. So some of you, depending on what type of character you have, if you have any of these awakening effects being applied to your character through awakening, they're probably going to get a significant buff after these updates go through. So that's going to be pretty big for a lot of you, especially for you out there that are running like a lot of soul weavers that have effectiveness and effect resistance. I think that's going to be a big amp for you, because that's an additional like 6% to both. I'm sorry, you get 3% from the initial one and 6% from the second, and even possibly thirds or fourths. It depends what kind of character awakenings that you have, but still very big. Hero balancing changes. Falconer Kluri is getting hit. A lot of us already expected that she was going to get hit. They made her a little bit overpowered for a natural 3-star. Even with a specialty change, she just felt a little bit too much. They are going to go ahead and hit her. Certain heroes will receive changes in next week's update. Falconer Kluri and Kluri will be nerfed and therefore available for recall. Once recalled, players will receive any runes used for skill tree, and Falconer Kluri will revert back to regular Kluri. However, once Kluri reaches level 50, she may be specialty changed without completing the specialty change quest. So at least you can make her, you can get all your stuff back from her that you've invested into her. Like if you made her a 6-star, you're going to get back all your promotion materials, you're going to get back all that gold, you're going to get back all those catalysts, you're going to get back all those runes that you've invested into her, all that stuff to go ahead and make another character a 6-star if you'd like. Or you could just kind of recall her, get her back to 50, because it does reset the levels as well, and she'll automatically become Falconer Kluri again, and then you could decide if you just want to keep her at level 50 or whatever. You know, that's completely up to you. But yes, she will be up for recall because she is being nerfed. Flurry's attacks cooldown will be increased by 1 turn. So before, Flurry flies towards the enemy with a 75% chance to dispel all buffs for a 75% chance. Max 100 with skill ups. Chance each to revoke and decrease defense for 2 turns. Cooldown 5 turns can be reduced for 4 turns. That's now a 6-turn cooldown that can be reduced to 5. So she got an additional cooldown added to that skill. The Trust rune effect will be changed. Before, it has a chance max 15% to be granted an extra turn at the end of the turn. Can be activated once per turn. Now it's only a max of 10%, so they nerfed it. Also, combat readiness of the cast by 50% at the end of the turn. So there you go. It's just not going to be a guaranteed granted extra turn either. It's just going to be 50% additional combat readiness. So that is also a big, big nerf. They just pretty much gave Falconer Kluri almost, not quite as much, but they almost gave her the Elson, Tierra, and Rickerus treatment. I don't think she got hit quite as hard as Tierra, because they nerfed her to the ground. Because I think Kluri is still somewhat usable, but they definitely nerfed her hard. For PvP, she's probably not going to be that great anymore. PvE, I think she still might find a place for some of you. So that all depends. Specimen Sez. I know a lot of you out there who pull Specimen Sez are definitely hype about this. It's not a huge, huge, huge buff, but he definitely got a significant buff to make him now usable. I don't think he's going to be the lowest rated 5-star in the game no more. I hope. Poor Sez. Stun effect chance for Dreamy Iron Mace will be increased. Attacks with an Iron Mace with a 35% chance to stun the enemy for 1 turn. It is now a 50% chance, which is good because it helps his S3. Let's see here. Evil Claws effect will be changed. After awakening, before it was buffed, it was attacks all enemies with evil claws, increasing the caster's combat radius by 50%. Now it attacks all enemies with evil claws with a 30% chance to stun for 1 turn before increasing the caster's combat radius by 50%. So they added a stun to that effect as well, which again is still helping Sez get ready for his S3. So at the very least for PvP, he got a significant amp. Lightstorm's effect will be changed. Attacks the enemy with a Lightstorm if the enemy is stunned, penetrates their defense. Now, attacks the enemy with a Lightstorm, resets cooldown of Lightstorm if the enemy is defeated. If the enemy is stunned, penetrates their defense. They added another effect to that as well. Basically, if you destroy an enemy, you could basically do it again your next turn. So that's going to be really, really good for PvP. Actually, I think his PvP buff is amazing because if you pair him with possibly a, I don't know, Moonlight Araminta or a General Purgus or any other unit that can do some heavy stunning, he's going to go off like a madman in PvP. So I think for PvP players, I think their Specimen Sez they're probably very happy with these changes. PvE, he's still going to struggle because stuns don't really do much of anything in PvE because of bosses being immune to all of that. But in PvP, he just became pretty badass. So I'm sure a lot of you are probably happy about that, at least on the PvP side. Specter Tenebria, 5-star mage, dark boy. Poison's blast damage will be increased by 20%. Attacks with an explosion of poison energy with a 50%, 70% max with skill ups. Chance to inflict poison for 2 turns. So there you go. That's getting a 20% amp. Nightmare Illusion's effect will be changed. When an enemy is debuffed, the range of Poison Blast extends to 2 enemies. Damage dealt by poison enemies is decreased by 20%, max 30% with skill ups. When this effect is granted more than once, only the strongest effect is applied. The caster cannot be targeted if the allied hero remains. Every time someone is defeated, the caster's attack defense will increase by 7%, max 10%, can be stacked, up to 5 times, which means you can actually, with skill ups, take that up to 50%. Skill enhancement effect will be changed to the following. Before, -2 damage received, -3% damage received, -5% damage received, will now after go to plus 0.5% all stats, plus 1% all stats, and plus 1.5% all stats. So she is getting a big buff here. Endless Nightmare will have an added stun effect. Attacks with a Nightmare Crystal decrease in combat readiness of all remaining enemies by 50% when an enemy dies. Damage dealt increases proportional to the number of debuffs inflicted on the enemy. Now it's going to be attacks with a Nightmare Crystal and stuns the enemy for 1 turn. Decrease the combat readiness of all enemies by 50% if the enemy is defeated. Damage dealt increases proportional to the number of debuffs inflicted on the enemy. So she got substantial buff there. Alright. Now we got buffs also to auxiliary lots. Let's see here. Black Magic's effect will be changed. Attacks with a Magic Sphere increase attack of cast for 1 turn. It'll now be attacks with a Magic Sphere increase the combat readiness of the caster by 15%. So that is actually slightly better than increased attack of cast for 1 turn, because normally you're running a lot of buffers in the game anyway that are giving you increased attack. So it's not really a big deal, but giving him an additional 15% combat readiness on Black Magic is actually pretty crazy, because then you can attack more often. Mana Injection's effect will be changed. Injects an ally with mana, increase attack for 2 turns and combat readiness by 80%, max 100% with skill ups. Now it'll be injects an ally with mana and increase attack for 2 turns and combat readiness by 100% before increasing the caster's attack for 2 turns and combat readiness by an additional 30%. Absolutely insane. Desolation Silence effect duration will be increased. Before, attacks all enemies. Can't talk today, guys. Attacks all enemies by releasing strong mana with a 50%, 75% max chance to silence for 1 turn. Attacks all enemies by releasing strong mana with a 50% max, 75% chance to silence for 2 turns. So basically, you just add an additional turn to that. All right. Now we have Kitty Clarissa and then Assassin Sid also receiving amps. Meow, I'm Angry, Awakened buff duration decrease will increase by 1 turn. So basically, she's now getting her chance to decrease buff duration for 2 turns now instead of 1 for her Meow I'm Angry. So it's kind of save a little bit of time reading all that. I'm so cute. Meow's cooldown will be decreased by 1 turn, and the loveliness buff will no longer be able to be dispelled. Nani? So now, basically, she's going to wiggle her tail cutely. Decreases debuff duration on all allies by 2 turns, and granting the caster immunity and loveliness for 3 turns. Cooldown 5 turns can be reduced to 4 turns with skill ups. Absolutely insane. And then Specimen Sez swift action effect will be changed. Before, when an enemy is defeated, targets the enemy with the least health for 2 turns and increases speed of the cast by 30%, max 50 with skill ups. Alright. Now it'll be when an enemy is defeated, increase the caster's combat readiness by 15%, max 30%, and increases attack for 1 turn. Can be activated once per turn. So Specimen Sez is going to be going off a lot. Because with that additional combat readiness, up to 30% max with skill ups is insane. This dude is already extremely fast. He and regular Sid are tied for the fastest characters in the game. So he's already attacking quite often. You could easily get Sids up to 220 to 240 plus speed as it is. And now you're giving them Sid an additional 30% combat readiness with a swift action. Insane, man. Skill enhancement effect will be changed to the following. Increase speed by 5%, 5%, and 10%. Now it's going to be increased combat readiness by 3, 5, and 7. That's to give him that 30% combat readiness, which, like I said, is insane. All right. Executions, combat readiness decrease will be increased. So before it was, let's see, it was 30%. Yeah, you can decrease their combat readiness by 30%. Now it's going to be by 50%. Dude, they just... Tywin got... Or, I'm sorry, we're getting to Tywin next. Specimen Sez just got an amazing buff there. All that combat readiness, man. That he's taking away and giving himself, like, what? Insane, man. Alright, Tywin. 5-star, boys. You guys know I've been building up Tywin here. Pretty hype. All-out attacks decrease. Defense chance will be increased. Which is very nice. Because not only... is the attack defense chance being increased, this helps your Wyvern team phenomenally, because now Tywin is going from 50% with a 75% chance to decrease defense for 2 turns to now 75% chance to, with skill ups, 100% chance. So now he's going to be a very, very reliable defense breaking tanker for your Wyvern 11 team. Decrease in PvP, he's going to be as good, very good as well now, because if you guys did not know, his decreased defense for 2 turns is an AoE attack. So now he's kind of on that Bologna level of being able to AoE defense break. So Tywin's worth just skyrocketed to levels never before seen. He may actually be better than Craw overall completely now, because if you guys did not know, Tywin actually has higher HP base stats than Craw. And Tywin gives himself a 3-turn defense increase to himself, as well as he is a buffer on his S2 that can buff himself and an ally. And now he can also do a reliable AoE defense break as well on that S3 to complement his 3-turn defense up. So he is now a better tank because he's got more HP. He's got that self-efficiency with his own 3-turn defense up. He's going to hit. He's going to be more reliable to AoE defense breaking. He's a buffer, and he just looks beautiful. So, yeah, I think he's more overall better than Craw now. Yeah, Craw can do the damage on his S3, but, I mean, Tywin just adds versatility and support to your whole team that I just don't feel like Craw can give you. So I think Tywin is the man now. He's the knight in shining armor. All right. So Cecilia, 5-star Knight Fire. Runius, Retribution's provoke chance will be increased. So now it went from 60% max 75 to 85% and now 100% with skill up. So she can 100% provoke. She's a beast. Bazaar, 5-star Mage Earth. Sandstorm's cooldown will be decreased by 1 turn. So there you go. I mean, pretty simple. It's just going to they're going to decrease it by 1 turn. So it's going to be a 5-turn cooldown instead of 6. 4, of course, with skill ups. Zerato, the worst 4-star in the game, has the lowest base stats, I think, of almost even the 2-star monsters. He was just so bad. Ice Pick's effect will be changed. Attacks the enemy repeatedly, dealing increased damage when the enemy is debuffed. It'll now be attacks the enemy repeatedly and increases the caster's combat radius by 50%, deals increased damage if the enemy is debuffed. So they give him a little bit of a big, but they just basically allowed him to attack more often with that big combat readiness buff. Iceberg's cooldown will be decreased by 1 turn. It used to be a 6-turn to 5-turn max. Now it's going to be 5 turns to 4 turns max with skill ups. So I don't really still see Zerato being very good. I mean, he's just still very weak. Silk 4-star. 1 attack, concentration effects, amount of focus decrease will be reduced. So gains 1 focus at the end of the turn and consumes 1 focus when attacked. If the caster's stacked focus is more than 2, single shot is enhanced to automatic fire and damage dealt is increased. So they actually gave her a nerf because she used to get 2 focus. Oh, never mind. They actually gave her a buff. I apologize. She's actually consuming only 1 focus now instead of 2. So, there we go. Yeah, so she's actually consuming less focus. Okay, never mind. My apologies. Storm Arrow's decreased speed chance will be increased. So before Awakening, before the buff, she had attacks all enemies with wind with an 80% max 95% chance to decrease speed for 2 turns and granting increased speed to all allies for 2 turns. They've now made it to where it can go from 85% to 100%. So she got a 5% buff on that decreased speed for 2 turns, which is good for her. All right, Crow's End, which is another one of those very, very bad 4-stars. Mark of Protection effect will be changed. Cast a barrier over an ally for 2 turns when an attack causes their health to fall below 50%. Barrier strength increases proportional to the target's max health. Can be activated once every 2 turns. Now it'll be cast a barrier over an ally for 2 turns and increases defense for 2 turns when an attack causes their health to fall below 50%. Barrier strength increases proportional to the target's max health, can be activated every 2 turns. So they gave him a little bit of a defense buff as well. All right. Whew, that was a lot of reading, guys. Whew. March 4th week update will decrease the amount of Molagora needed for skill enhancement and improve the Molagora exchange process. Skill enhancement Molagora requirement decrease. 3 to 5 stars. Skill enhancement Molagora requirements will be decreased by 30%. So, grade 3 stars, before it was 46 Molagoras, now it's going to be 33. 4 stars was 56, now 39. And 5 stars went from a staggering 68 to 48. So, a lot of you can be expecting some free Molagoras to be ready for you to grab after these updates have been made because of the new changes. So, that's going to be pretty damn hype. Nice. This is a very good thing for everybody. All right, excess Molagoras used compared to the new decreased requirements will be returned together with gold to the player's in-game mailbox, which is going to be like Christmas to a lot of us. Excess Molagoras will be returned as Molagora exchange rate of 1 to 5. Let's see here. Molagora exchange improvement. Players will now be able to exchange 4 Molagoras for 1 Molagora Go within the normal section of the in-game shop. So you guys will be able to get those Molagora Goes anytime you want now. Goblicus and Hooch. I love that guy's name. Hooch. Where's the Hooch, guys? Time to get lit. Will no longer sell Molagora Goes, and Hooch will now sell charms at a cheaper price, which is also good. Arena Season 2 launch. March 4th week update will see the launch of Arena Season 2 in a new form of Arena currency. The Arena Season 2 shop will be open during April 1st for I can't talk today. April 1st week update. So is it going to be a joke? Smilegate, April 1st going to be a joke? I'm just playing. Season 2 launch. Okay, so it starts on the 4/1, which is kind of funny because that's April Fools. Are they memeing us here? Alright, so the Arena Season 2 shop opens, though, on 4/4, Thursday after the update, which will probably be Wednesday for a lot of us on 4/3. Addition of Glory Crest. A new form of currency called Glory Crest will be added with the launch of Arena Season 2. A Glory Crest will be obtained at the end of each weekly ranking change amount depending on the player's league and will reset at the end of the season. Arena Season 2 shop opening. After Season 2, exclusive items can be purchased with Glory Crest and Conquest points. Unknown Slate. Arena Season 2 exclusive equipment level 88. Arena Season 2 exclusive hero frames. And decreased cost of charms in the Conquest point section of the in-game shop. Hall of Fame, we've already talked about that in the last update. Powder of Knowledge shop list update. What do we got here today? We got Battle of Knowledge, Lesser Artifact Charms, Greater Artifact Charms, Sigurd's Scythe, I will take that. Elbrus Ritual Sword, for all of you out there who are running Charles. Rihanna and Lucilia, for any of you out there that are running Kisei, for example, or any other good thief that you would need that for. Celestine, for somebody out there looking for some healing. Elf's Fist, Aureus, Kaladra, and Rosa Hargana. So, I know there's a certain YouTuber, Fort, Misery Gaming, you know who you are, sir, that's probably pissed off because it's still no Olbrus Tooth in the shop still for the Powder of Knowledge. So he has to wait even longer. Poor lad's been trying to get that forever. Lela, Violin, Error Fix. Now it has a 40% max, 80% chance to dispel one buff from the enemy after attacking. And then package price updates on the Google Play Store, which I'm not assuming that it's going to be cheaper prices in the store for all the packages, which would be great, but highly unlikely. So that is the updates. There were so many of them. Were you guys happy about the buffs and the nerfs? Were some of you disappointed? Let me know all that and more in the comment section below. Until next time, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to try and get out of here. That was a long one. My throat is killing me. I hope you guys did appreciate that. Again, I will have the link for that in the description below as always. And be sure to subscribe if you're new. And join us in the description below in our Discord. That way you guys can keep the conversations going before and after the videos. And that's going to be it for me today. Hope you guys liked the video as always. Until next time, have a great day wherever you are. Till then, peace.